Good morning, students. Today's lesson is about models. They are called modal auxiliaries because they basically are helping verbs. Helping verbs are verbs and come in front of main verbs, but sometimes they can also be used as main verbs. Can and could, may and might, will and would, shall and should, must. Whether modals, modal verbs, modal auxiliary, or modal auxiliary verbs, they are all the same. The modal verbs and the primary verbs, be, do, and have, which you have read previously, are called auxiliary verbs. The difference between these two groups of verbs is that we can use modal verbs as auxiliary verbs only. In other words, we cannot use modal verbs on their own in a sentence as they are not complete by themselves. We have to use them with other verbs, which must be in the simple present tense. A modal is basically non-finite verb, a not finite verb rather, because we can't conjugate, means we cannot give different forms to it. Like regular verbs, if I say to sing, then I say I can sing, you can sing, he can sing, we had been singing, we should have been singing. It can make so many tenses. You cannot do it with the modal. There are 11 modal verbs: can, could, may, might, will, would, shall, should, and must. And such as had better, ought to, used to, need, and dare are semi modal verbs as they can function as modal verbs as well as main verbs. Each of the modal verb is used with another verb to express ideas such as ability, necessity, obligation, permission, possibility, wish, etc. that are not expressed by the main verb. Each of them can express more than one of these ideas. So they are modal verbs. These modal verbs are auxiliary verbs just like be, do, and have because they work together with a main verb. You always have a modal verb with a main verb, and the main verb that follows is always in the bare infinitive form without to. Now, these modal verbs are used in English to express something. They have a purpose. So, we need to try and understand that purpose today. Okay. Now, they can be used to talk about possibility and probability, to talk about how likely something is. Now, remember, you are always using that modal verb with a main verb. So, how likely is it that action will happen? Are you certain? You are sure? You are confident that will happen? Is it probable? Is it likely to happen? Is there a good chance it will happen? Is it possible or is it unlikely? Now, in all of these situations, we can use a modal verb to explain how certain you are that something will happen, how possible something is. Now, these same modal verbs can also be used to explain ability. So, how able you are to do something. They can be used to ask permission, make request, and offer help. In fact, there is quite a few different uses. So, I'm going to split this lesson into two parts. So, let's just take one step at a time. In this lesson, I will teach how we use modal verbs to talk about certainty, probability, and possibility. So, this is how likely something is to happen, or if it's possible at all. And then, next part, I will focus on ability and the other uses. Okay, so let's start with probability. How likely something is to happen. Now we use will to talk about the future when we are confident that something will happen. We believe it. We are certain it's going to be true. Like the sun will rise tomorrow. So I am pretty sure that it will happen definitely. Okay. Shreya will be late. Well, she's always late. So I definitely believe that to be true. If you don't take a jumper, you will get cold. It's freezing outside there. You will also hear will used to give reassurance when you want to confirm that something is true. You will know when your mummy tells you you will pass the test. Don't worry. Even though you are really not sure that's true, she uses will to tell you that she is confident, she believes in you. When you are upset, your friends tell you it will be all right, it will be okay. They are confident, they believe that everything will be okay with you. Now, if you are certain that something is not going to happen, use will not, or won't. I'm repeating. If you are certain that something is not going to happen, use will not or won't. Okay. If they walk, they won't arrive in time. It's too far. I am certain that won't happen. We also use must when we are confident and sure of something that is happening in the present. And usually we have a reason or an explanation to tell why something is happening. Okay. The baby is crying. She must be hungry. I thought Sania would be here by now. She must be stuck in traffic. They didn't eat any of the eggs. They must be vegetarian. Notice how I have given a reason for all of these examples to show why I believe something to be true, and it is quite common when you are using must. It explains that you are quite confident about the statement and you are able to give a reason to explain why you are so sure. To use must to talk about the past when you are quite sure that something happened, then use must have. After flying for 24 hours, you must have felt exhausted. I thought I would do better in the exam. I must have been really nervous. Ramesh is not here right now. He must have thought that you were meeting him downstairs. Now, see how this creates the perfect tense. The main verb following have is in the past participle form. So, when talking about the present or the future, must is followed by the bare infinitive, means without to, form without to form. But when talking about the past, must is followed by have. and the past participle verb form. I'm repeating once again for you. When talking about the present or the future, must is followed by the bare infinitive form, but when talking about the past, must is followed by have and the past participle verb form. And this pattern is correct for many of the modal verbs that we will talk about today. We use should to say that something is likely. It means we are not 100% sure or certain, but we believe it to be true. Example, they left an hour ago. They should be here by now. If they take the car, they should arrive by 4. To talk about the past, we use should have. It's the same pattern. I didn't realize he was unwell. We should have offered to take him to the doctor. The school know Mohan was going to be late. They should have called his mother. Now let's talk possibility. People can be really rude. Be careful because it can be quite dangerous on the street at night. It can be really difficult to find a speaking partner to practice English with. It can take over 12 hours to hike through mountains. Now, all these are general statements. They are not specific. I'm saying these statements are possible, but I'm not saying exactly what is happening. Okay. Now, in this context, could is used as the past tense of can. I remember winters in Missouri, weeks could go by without ever seeing the sun. So, when we are uncertain or unsure about the present and the future, we use the modal verbs could, might, and may. They explain that something is possible but not certain or guaranteed. If you wait near the door on Lewis Street, you could see the Prime Minister passing. They might arrive before lunch. I may need to borrow your car. Now, might and may are very similar. There is slight difference between the two. Might tells us that the outcome is a little bit less likely, but the truth is that 99% of native English speakers don't even realize this. So you don't need to be worried about the difference at all. When used in spoken English, you can use either when talking about possibility, just consider them to be the same. Okay. We may go on holiday in June. We might go on holiday in June. These are closer enough. Okay. Both the sentences are close enough. The meaning of the sentence is so similar, but the second one, I'm talking about fourth and fifth. The meaning of the sentence is so similar, but the second one, we might go on holiday in June, suggests that it's a little less likely, and that's all. We can also use could to explain that we are uncertain about the future. It could rain this afternoon. It might rain this afternoon. It may rain this afternoon. Now, all of these sentences tell us that it's possible but not certain. Confirm. There is a chance that it will happen. Rahul could arrive before us. Rahul might arrive before us. Rahul may arrive before us. All these examples talk about the present or the future, and the modal verb is followed by the bare infinitive verb form. But now we will go into the past, back in time. Then we use these same modal verbs with have followed by the past participle verb. So suddenly we are using the present perfect tense. They might have finished dinner by now. I am worried something could have happened to Sita. Okay, so that was talking about possibility. Now let's focus on impossibility. When something is not possible, when we know that something is unlikely to happen, the chances of happening are really, really small. When we think that something is impossible, we use the negative forms of can and could. Okay, you can't be serious. It's not possible. I don't believe it. This expression is often used after someone says something that you just don't believe. When we think that what is said is very unlikely to be true, when we told them they had won, they couldn't believe it. See the another example, number 2. When we think that what is said is very unlikely to be true. See the example. When we told them they had won, they couldn't believe it. He said he was in Oxford. He couldn't have been serious. So, when spoken, these negative forms are usually contracted can't, couldn't, and couldn't have. You will hear people pronounce the full negative form, though the full negative form, especially to add emphasis to make the meaning stronger. Okay, let's conclude now. If you are certain about something, use will or use won't if you are certain that something is impossible. Now, if you are confident about something and you have a reason for believing it, use must or should. If you are talking about something generally that's possible, use can. If you are not certain but it's possible, use might, may, or could. So remember that there are different meanings for all of these modal verbs, and we are going to talk about the semi-modal verbs in the next lesson, in the next video. Well, I hope you must have understood the lesson. For the time being, keep practicing with the lesson. Thank you so much.